You talk about hosting. Like, what do you think about Nicki Minaj being involved with the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion?
Well, I think I mean, who cares? Like nobody really cares. I think Nicki Minaj needs to worry about responding to that rape victim who's suing her and her husband, because my understanding yesterday she failed to respond to the complaint that was filed. So now there's a default motion being filed today. That story is going out on Hollywood Unlocked today. So I'm actually breaking it here first. And so there's a $15 million judgment that may be levied against her and her husband. I also want to know why she transferred her mother's house to her husband's name for $0. Like, what were you doing with that? I mean, she has the dark cloud following her career. She's not the queen that she wants to be, but ultimately there's a crack in her crown. I hope that she can stop worrying about the Real Housewives and be a real woman and clean up her mess, because it's disgusting.
Fair enough. I see there's no love lost between the two of you.
No.
What about is there any up and comers that you see, that like we may not know about, like I may not know about? Is there anyone like that, kind of like a Jordyn Woods, which to your point, I don't know if I would have really known who Jordyn Woods was before that story broke. I doubt I've ever heard of her before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like the rapper Lotto. I know she recently was mad at us on Hollywood Unlocked. She said, we chose the worst comments about her performance. Well, that was what we saw. People didn't like it, but I like her and I want her to win. I love Lizzo. She's not an up and comer. She's Lizzo, but I want to interview her. I just love her. I love her spirit. I love her body positivity. I love her fearlessness. I love all that. I think I got it wrong on Doja Cat. I think she's going to be a superstar. And she's another one that I have to reconcile with, because I kind of burnt that one down too. But there's a lot of, I talked to Bia a couple weeks ago when I was at the Rihanna Fenty premiere. I FaceTime Bia with Rihanna, and she's somebody that I want to get on the show. Yeah, there's a lot of young people out there working. And I just love the fact that there's so many people out there expressing their creativity and getting opportunities to do so.
That makes sense. 3 final questions, I promise. When you were on Breakfast Club with Charlemagne and you were talking about this whole situation, like when your podcast was closed down, I'm a lawyer. I don't practice law anymore, but I'm the type, like, I love everyone. You started at 10 out of 10. Personally, I don't care. You could tell me I'm disgusted, whatever you say. You come from my business and I see red. It's literally, I see red. So when you said to Charlemagne, when he asked you about like Karen Civil, like, do you think she should go to jail? And you said, yes, like, of course, yeah, like, and Charlemagne was like, so like, what, like, shouldn't we have? And you were just like, she did something major to you. Why do you think that? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is that such a shocking reaction that you would want anyone that came for your business, that this is your livelihood, like, and you put so much into it? Of course you don't want to, I don't know. I thought that was
because this industry, as you know, is navigated by relationships, Yeah. Like for so long, I was labeled and demonized this messy, gay blogger who hides in the bushes and hates everybody and is miserable and wants everybody. He hates Black women. He hates trans. They did all that. And they all banded together in support. I love Charlemagne. I didn't say this on the show, but I will say this. When I got the interview with the Breakfast Club, and then they ultimately gave me a show over at iHeart, and the show launched in 52 markets. Now it's in 72 markets, #1 show in the country on the weekend. It's whatever, right? Charlemagne got this big deal. Damn, I should have said this on the show. But anyway, he got this big deal with iHeart where he launched his own network. And he knew that I was struggling with iHeart because the business wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I love iHeart, so I'm not bad-mouthing them. I love the people over there, but I didn't like the business when I first started. Mind you, I didn't come in as an employee. I don't ask them for days off. I own the show. So I'm a partner. And so I don't talk to them as an employee. I talk to them as a partner. And for them, I think it was very difficult because I came in very much like, what we doing? Where the money? Right. You know what I mean? But Charlemagne, once he got his deal, the Blac Effect Network, I believe is what it's called, Blac Effect Network. That's the president is the producer from Wild 'N Out, who was my producer, Dolly. It just made sense that I would come to the Blac Effect Network because I'm Black, I'm in effect, I'm on the network, I'm here. I'm not happy with iHeart at the time.
Yeah.
And Charlemagne called me and he said, why does everybody say you're so hard to work with? And I just couldn't digest that. And I had to explain to him and educate him that when you are an owner of your company, you're having a different conversation. You're in the details of the back end money. You're in the details of metrics and what we're doing to drive up the market rate. So that way the money, you're yielding a bigger return on your investment. You take lower money up front, so you get the bigger investment on the back. But if the bigger investment on the back isn't happening, then people need to give you answers. And when people don't feel like they're obligated to give you answers because they're used to dealing with employees and you have to teach them that you're not their employee, it's very uncomfortable for people to digest. And I had to explain this to him, but nonetheless, he never added me to his network. And so I looked at that and, at first I was kind of frustrated with Charlemagne, to be honest with you, because I'm like, yo, like, really? Somebody told you I was hard to work with and you got this pot of money and you're bringing all these other shows on, but you didn't even look at me. But here's the blessing in it. I don't want to work for Charlemagne. And had I joined that network, I would be working for somebody else. So now I have this huge opportunity that just came to me a couple of weeks ago that I'm literally waiting on a call for today, that had I taken that opportunity, I would have never got this bigger opportunity. So I never question. I go back to my book, God Must Have Forgot About Me. He never has. He's always been there to block something that I didn't deserve because I deserved bigger, or provided me with opportunities that I needed to take and get an L from, so I learned from that lesson. So I stopped questioning things. I didn't live in why, Charlemagne? Why not me? Why? I didn't even bring it up and throw it up in his face in the interview because I honestly had just forgot about it because I've had so many bigger blessings since he rejected me. But when I look at the comments in the there's like 1.1 million views for this this interview we did a week ago.
Yeah.
7,200 comments and everybody's like, we support Jason. We don't know why Charlemagne is not asking harder questions. Why is Charlemagne wanting everybody to get over it? Listen, I don't have to go and attack Charlemagne and his point of view. The audience, they attack me. Now they're attacking him. The audience is who we serve and they don't miss anything. So I love Charlemagne. I mean, he's still very much an example of what I am becoming. I think he missed an opportunity during that interview to be a little bit more pointed towards the fact that a Black business owner was almost destroyed at the hands of a person that we don't know who they do. And I will say here that I haven't said anywhere else. After I did that interview, a woman saw the interview and she messaged me that she paid Karen Civil allegedly $5,000 or a lot of money to help her get an interview on The Breakfast Club, and it was never secured. And then she just ghosted her. So I sent it to Charlemagne and Envy. And I didn't have to say, I told you so, or why didn't you? I just sent that and I left it alone because ultimately I know that I am grounded in my purpose and I'm doing the work with the most integrity and with all the objectivity I can. And the audience they'll see later on, and they don't have to see it right now. Just like I don't need Wendy's seat right now. It'll happen eventually. And when it does, I'll be right there to say, told you, I told you.
Yes, you will. And I agree. I think everything happens for a reason. We know that you are a taken man these days.
No, I'm not.
You're not in a relationship?
Hell no. Listen, the only thing I'm taking aback by the fact that I'm not in a relationship.
Join the club, honey. Join the club. I mean, it's shocking, right?
It's shocking, but when you're in pursuit of your dreams, something has to give, and that's just been the one thing that has.
Well, I'm sorry I got that fact wrong. I thought you had a man.
Well, if you look at my Instagram once a week, I do.
Well, maybe that's what I was looking at. Yeah. But if you Google it, nothing comes up. So
no.
The final two questions, I promise. What advice would you give someone? Like, I know that you're going to start all this with the podcast, but if there's someone out there listening, just starting out that is possibly gay and young or straight or whatever, just like someone who wants to break into this media and kind of make their own mark, what advice would you give them?
Two things. One, find out what your thing is, right? Don't let anybody detour you from getting in the space because they tell you there's no room for you, because they told me that. And clearly I've carved out my own space. And two, be very fearless. Be very fearless, relentless, and don't give up, because ultimately it's a scary thing to leave a day job, or even to slow down on a day job or downgrade your life. But once you do and you really focus on finding out what your lane is, and then just really honing in on that and being fearless and nonstop. Like, you have to be so dogmatic for your dreams that the painful struggle of like elevation is just a part of the process. So you don't look at it like, man, I don't got nothing, or I'm losing everything. No, you got to be broken down to build it up. And my life was very comfortable before I started Hollywood Unlocked, and I had to strip it all down to nothing and build it all back up. But that journey, those little things that, I remember when we had, advertisers were paying $100 to promote on Hollywood Unlocked. And now, I'm sitting here and literally there's literally all these checks on my desk right now that I didn't even know were coming. So it's just one of those things where don't do it for the money. The money is going to come. Just stay focused on your craft, stay focused on building strong relationships. And, the courses that I'm dropping, when we set the price of $1,999, I said, if somebody doesn't want to invest $2,000 in their dreams to get $1 million worth of game, their dreams aren't real.